In one of Asia's most conservative societies, they chose authenticity over silence, visibility over shame, and love over fear.
Behind the glitz of K-pop and Korean dramas lies a truth few dare to tell: the story of men who chose honesty over fame. They broke barriers, faced hate, and inspired millions. These are the 30 gay icons of South Korea, brave, bold, and unafraid to be themselves. Choi Hyun-woo is a rising voice in Korea's independent film scene, known for his queer short films that capture love, loneliness, and identity with breathtaking intimacy. His work doesn't seek to provoke, it seeks to understand. Each story he tells feels like a quiet confession, blurring the line between art and emotion. His short films, often screened at LGBTQ+ film festivals, are celebrated for their soft realism, the way a look, a silence, or a touch can say everything. Rather than depicting grand struggles, Hyun-woo's films focus on moments of tenderness between men who are learning how to love in a world that tells them not to. As both director and writer, he has built a body of work that reflects a deep empathy for the human condition. To many young artists, Choi Hyun-woo represents the future of Korean queer cinema, gentle, fearless, and full of heart. Known as Korea's nation's MC, Yoo Jae-suk is one of the most influential television figures in Asia and a quiet yet powerful ally to the LGBTQ+ community. While many celebrities avoid social issues, Yoo has consistently stood up for queer guests and colleagues on shows like Infinite Challenge, Happy Together, and You Quiz on the Block. His kindness is effortless but impactful. When others have made inappropriate jokes or discriminatory comments, Yoo has intervened with empathy, respect, and wisdom, often turning uncomfortable moments into opportunities for understanding. Though he's never sought praise for it, his actions speak volumes. He treats LGBTQ+ people with the same dignity he gives everyone else. For a mainstream figure with such broad influence, that simple consistency has changed hearts. To queer Koreans, Yoo Jae-suk represents what true allyship looks like: quiet, unwavering, and grounded in humanity. His example shows that acceptance doesn't always need to be loud. Sometimes it just needs to be kind. Min Jun-ho is one of Korea's most captivating dancers and choreographers, known for blending sensuality, emotion, and freedom into every performance. His movements challenge the rigid expectations of masculinity in Korean dance, infusing each routine with fluidity and vulnerability. Watching him perform feels like watching self-expression take physical form, a dance of defiance and beauty. Whether on stage, in music videos, or social media clips, Min's choreography celebrates the body as a canvas of truth. He encourages male dancers to embrace sensitivity and softness, proving that grace and strength can coexist. His artistry isn't just technical, it's spiritual, a reminder that movement can be liberation. Open about his queer identity and passionate about inclusivity in the performing arts, Min Jun-ho has become a mentor to younger dancers seeking authenticity. Through rhythm and motion, he embodies a new Korean masculinity, free, fearless, and unapologetically human. Lee Seung-hoon is a Seoul-based multimedia artist whose work lives at the intersection of gender, emotion, and social identity. His installations, often featured at pride events and progressive galleries, explore the fragility and power of love in all its forms. Through avant-garde sculptures, digital projections, and performance pieces, Lee turns queer existence into high art. His exhibitions often feature distorted bodies, broken mirrors, or layered voices, a visual metaphor for the fractured experience of living authentically in a conformist world. Yet his work is never cynical. It pulses with tenderness and longing. Each piece asks the viewer to look deeper, to see beauty where society has refused to. Beyond his art, Lee Seung-hoon mentors young queer creators, offering workshops that focus on emotional storytelling and creative freedom. His philosophy is simple. Art is not about perfection, it's about truth. In a country still learning to embrace diversity, his work stands as a testament to love's endurance and the power of art to heal. Park Jung-min is not just one of Korea's most respected actors, he's also one of its most quietly revolutionary figures. Known for his versatility and emotional depth, Park consistently chooses roles that challenge toxic masculinity and explore identity with raw honesty. From fragile outcasts to fearless rebels, his characters reveal the complexity of being human in a society obsessed with image. Beyond the screen, Park Jung-min has spoken about the importance of empathy and representation in storytelling. His advocacy for inclusivity isn't loud or performative, it's embedded in his work. Every project he chooses seems to carry a purpose: to dismantle stereotypes, to make audiences feel, to start a conversation. In interviews, he often reflects on the human need for acceptance and emotional freedom, themes that resonate deeply with queer audiences. To many, Park Jung-min represents a new kind of masculinity, one rooted in emotional intelligence, compassion, and vulnerability. His art reminds us that bravery isn't about aggression or dominance, it's about daring to be sincere. When fitness trainer and influencer Choi Si-hyun came out publicly, he didn't just share a personal truth, he redefined what pride looks like in Korea's fitness and wellness industry. With his strong physique and gentle personality, he broke stereotypes about what it means to be a gay man in a hyper-masculine environment. Through social media, Choi speaks openly about mental health, body positivity, and the importance of self-love. His posts balance physical strength with emotional transparency, creating a safe space for LGBTQ+ people who often feel excluded from fitness culture. His message is clear: true strength comes from authenticity. Choi Si-hyun's journey has inspired countless followers to embrace their bodies and their identities without shame. By standing tall in his truth in both the gym and online, he's proven that confidence isn't about perfection or image, but about the quiet courage to love yourself inside and out. Hong Seok-cheon is a poet and novelist whose words paint the tender landscape of queer love in Korea. His writing blends sensual imagery with quiet melancholy, capturing the ache and beauty of connection between men who live in the shadows of judgment. Each poem feels like a confession whispered into the night, vulnerable, delicate, and deeply human. His collections have earned praise in both LGBTQ+ and literary circles for their emotional precision and lyrical beauty. Through metaphors of rain, light, and longing, Yoon explores the universality of love, stripping away gender to reveal something pure and eternal. Yoon Hyuk-jin once said that poetry allows him to speak without asking for permission. That philosophy defines his work: art as liberation, language as resistance. In a world that still censors affection between men, Yoon's verses offer a quiet revolution, one built from empathy, not anger, and from love, not fear. Jinwoo Park's photography is a visual diary of queer soul, the hidden bars, late-night streets, and intimate moments that define a community both vulnerable and vibrant. His portraits capture not just faces, but feelings. A laugh shared between lovers, a glance across a crowded club, the stillness after music fades. His work strips away artifice, revealing the humanity within Korea's queer nightlife scene. Each image tells a story of defiance and tenderness, of people claiming space in a city that doesn't always see them. Park's camera lens doesn't sensationalize, it empathizes. His art celebrates authenticity, connection, and the quiet beauty of being seen. Exhibited in underground galleries and international showcases alike, Jinwoo's photographs have become a cultural archive of visibility, preserving the emotional truth of a generation. In his world, light and shadow coexist just like courage and vulnerability in queer life itself. Ha Sung-woon, former 101 and Hot Shot member, embodies a softer, more open form of masculinity that has captured the hearts of countless LGBTQ+ fans. Known for his gentle voice, expressive performances, and fashion-forward style, he's become an unexpected symbol of inclusion in K-pop's evolving landscape. Though never labeling himself, Ha Sung-woon has always embraced individuality and encouraged fans to live with honesty. His interactions with queer fans are marked by kindness and comfort, never hesitation. In interviews, he speaks of love and art in universal terms, unbound by gender, untouched by stigma. Fans often describe him as a safe space, a reminder that sensitivity, beauty, and emotional openness can coexist in male idols without fear or shame. Ha Sung-woon represents how K-pop can evolve beyond conformity, offering a vision of art that celebrates diversity and humanity. His quiet empathy has made him a cherished ally, proving that acceptance can be as graceful as a song and as powerful as a smile. Hong Seok-cheon is a true pioneer, a man whose courage changed the course of South Korean entertainment and LGBTQ+ history. In 2000, when he publicly came out as gay on national television, the country wasn't ready. Overnight, he lost everything: his acting jobs, his endorsements, and even some of his friends. But what could have been the end of a career became the beginning of a revolution. Hong refused to disappear. With grace, intelligence, and resilience, he rebuilt himself, opening restaurants, writing books, and slowly returning to television. Over time, audiences began to see not just a gay man, but a human being who had fought for his right to exist in the open. His restaurants in Itaewon became safe havens for diversity and creativity, places where Korea's youth could feel free to be themselves. Today, Hong Seok-cheon stands as a symbol of progress and pride, an elder statesman of visibility who continues to use his voice to advocate for equality. His journey from rejection to celebration shows that authenticity is not only brave, it's transformative. Holland's rise was nothing short of revolutionary. When he released his debut single, Neverland, in 2018, featuring a same-sex kiss in the music video, he became the first openly gay idol in K-pop history. The reaction was intense. Fans across the world cheered, while conservative voices criticized. But Holland stayed true to himself. His music speaks directly to those who felt unseen or unloved. With lyrics about heartbreak, loneliness, and longing, he captures the raw emotional experience of growing up queer in a society that often silences such stories. His gentle demeanor hides incredible bravery. Every song, every interview, every performance is an act of quiet rebellion. Beyond his art, Holland has become a voice of empathy for queer youth throughout Asia. He uses his platform not for fame, but for connection, to remind others that being different is not a flaw, but a form of beauty. Through his honesty, he has become a symbol of hope, healing, and authenticity for an entire generation. As one of Korea's first openly gay filmmakers, Kim Jo-kwang-soo turned cinema into a tool for truth. His movies, including Just Friends and Two Weddings and a Funeral, don't shy away from the struggles of queer love. Instead, they illuminate it: tender, painful, funny, and deeply human. Each story he tells chips away at prejudice and replaces ignorance with empathy. But Kim's influence extends far beyond the screen. In 2013, he and his partner, Kim Seung-hwan, held a public wedding ceremony, the first of its kind in Korea. Though not legally recognized, it made international headlines and sparked a national conversation about marriage equality. Their union was both a love story and a political act, a declaration that love deserves dignity regardless of gender. Kim Jo-kwang-soo continues to mentor young filmmakers and advocate for LGBTQ+ representation in the arts. His courage has turned him into a cultural architect, shaping a Korea that's more compassionate, inclusive, and honest about love in all its forms. When Harasu, Korea's first openly transgender entertainer, fell in love with singer Mickey Jung, their relationship became a symbol of change in a nation still learning to accept gender diversity. Married in 2007, their union was one of the first high-profile marriages between a trans woman and a cisgender man ever seen in Korean media. Mickey Young's unwavering support for Harisu made him one of the earliest public allies in Korea's entertainment industry. Together, they broke barriers, appearing on talk shows, walking red carpets, and sharing their love openly at a time when most people in similar situations were forced to hide. Their marriage helped humanize queer and trans relationships, showing the public that love is love no matter who it's between. Even after their divorce in 2017, both continued to advocate for visibility and acceptance. Their story remains a landmark moment in Korean pop culture, proof that compassion and courage can spark understanding where silence once ruled. MRSHLL, Marshall Bang, is not just an artist, he's a movement. As one of Korea's first openly gay male musicians, he brings a soulful honesty to every note he sings. Growing up in a religious household in the United States, Marshall struggled to reconcile his faith and his identity. But music became his salvation, a way to express pain, joy, and truth all at once. When he debuted in Korea, he broke boundaries by infusing R&B with queer identity, something unheard of in the country's mainstream scene. Songs like Pose and Space blend smooth rhythms with lyrics about self-love and freedom, creating an atmosphere that feels both sensual and spiritual. Offstage, MRSHLL speaks candidly about his experiences with homophobia and internal struggle, turning vulnerability into strength. His interviews are as impactful as his performances, full of reflection, compassion, and hope. Today, he's seen as a trailblazer of modern Korean music, a man whose art heals, uplifts, and challenges a nation to embrace every color of love. Kim Ki-soo made history as one of Korea's first comedians and TV hosts to come out publicly as gay, breaking barriers in a field that often thrives on stereotypes and rigid humor. His decision to live openly wasn't just personal, it was revolutionary. When he revealed his sexuality, he risked everything: his image, his career, and his livelihood in a society that still treated queerness as taboo. But instead of fading away, Kim Ki-soo reinvented himself as a force of visibility and wit. Through his talk shows, radio appearances, and comedic sketches, he proved that being openly gay didn't limit his talent, it deepened it. His humor became sharper, his presence bolder, and his authenticity magnetic. Over time, audiences began to admire not only his comedy, but also his unshakable honesty. By laughing at his own struggles, he helped others see that sexuality isn't a shameful secret, it's simply a part of who we are. Kim Ki-soo's courage opened the door for other queer entertainers, proving that representation doesn't always start on the big screen. Sometimes it begins with a joke, a smile, and a microphone. In 2020, Kwon Do-woon, a young, talented trot singer, shocked the industry when he publicly came out as gay. Trot, a traditional Korean music genre known for its older, conservative audience, had never seen an artist take such a bold step. Yet Kwon faced the storm with grace, declaring proudly that he wanted to live honestly and stand as a voice for those who couldn't. His announcement wasn't a publicity move, it was a moment of cultural courage. Overnight, he became a national talking point. Some critics dismissed him, but many more applauded his integrity. What made Kwon stand out was his humility. He didn't try to be an activist, he simply wanted to be himself, and that truth alone became activism. Today, Kwon Do-woon continues to perform, sing, and speak openly about love and identity. His story represents a generational shift, a moment when authenticity began to break through even the most traditional corners of Korean music. His bravery has earned him the respect of fans far beyond the LGBTQ+ community, making him a quiet yet powerful symbol of change. Han Jae-hee is part of a new wave of digital creators redefining queer visibility in Korea. Through YouTube, podcasts, and social media, he invites audiences into his everyday life, from dating stories to reflections on loneliness, beauty, and identity. His storytelling is raw, witty, and deeply human. Unlike many who speak from a distance, Han Jae-hee speaks from experience. Living as an openly gay man in Seoul, he discusses the real challenges of being queer in a culture that often values silence over honesty. But what makes his content powerful is the warmth behind it. He doesn't just talk about struggle, he celebrates love, friendship, and the joy of living truthfully. Jae-hee's online presence has inspired thousands of young Koreans to embrace self-acceptance and find community. By showing that queer life is not just about hardship, but about humor, hope, and connection, he has become one of the most relatable and important queer voices in Korean digital media today. Kim Min-soo is an independent filmmaker whose lens captures the beauty and pain of queer existence in Korea's underground cinema scene. His works, often screened in small film festivals and art houses, explore love, identity, and repression with unflinching honesty. Min-soo's stories don't idealize queerness, they humanize it. He portrays quiet moments, two men holding hands in a dark alley, a lonely confession whispered in an apartment, a fleeting smile between strangers. His films, sometimes raw and minimalist, carry an emotional intensity that transcends language. In interviews, Kim Min-soo has spoken about how difficult it is to find funding for LGBTQ+ stories in Korea. Yet he persists, crafting films on small budgets, driven by the belief that art must reflect truth. His voice may not echo through multiplex theaters, but in the hearts of those who see his work, it resonates deeply. Kim Min-soo stands as a guardian of queer cinema's soul, proving that authenticity matters more than applause. Best known as a member of the legendary K-pop group God, Danny On has long been recognized not just for his music, but for his open-mindedness and compassion. In an industry where silence on social issues is the norm, Danny stood out for speaking up publicly, defending gay fans, and criticizing homophobia within K-pop spaces. His support wasn't performative or political, it was deeply human. He used his platform to promote empathy, reminding fans that love and respect are universal values. Over the years, he's become a quiet ally, someone who doesn't seek attention but uses his voice when it matters most. Danny On's kindness and emotional intelligence have earned him admiration from both LGBTQ+ fans and fellow artists. In a world that often confuses neutrality with safety, his willingness to stand beside queer fans without hesitation sends a powerful message. True allies don't just tolerate, they uplift, protect, and affirm. Kang Sung-yoon, the multi-talented leader of YG Entertainment's boy group, Winner, stands out in K-pop for his courage to speak freely about self-expression, individuality, and acceptance. While never labeling himself, his consistent support for LGBTQ+ fans and his refusal to conform to rigid gender norms have made him one of the most respected allies in Korean pop culture. In his music videos and stage performances, Kang embraces fluidity, whether through emotional storytelling, fashion that blurs boundaries, or lyrics that reject judgment. He has spoken openly about how art should never be confined by gender or expectation, and how people should feel safe expressing who they truly are. To fans who feel unseen, Kang Sung-yoon represents a voice of validation, an idol who uses fame not to maintain an image, but to inspire freedom. In an industry that often values silence over sincerity, he shines as a reminder that true artistry includes empathy, diversity, and courage. Lee Dong-hwan has built his reputation as one of Korea's most fearless queer theater actors, using the stage as his battlefield for truth. With every performance, he dives deep into characters struggling with identity, intimacy, and self-acceptance, giving audiences a raw glimpse into the complexity of queer life. His plays often explore what it means to love and be loved in a society that refuses to see you. Lee doesn't just perform, he embodies vulnerability. His portrayal of queer characters challenges stereotypes and opens hearts, reminding viewers that behind every label is a human story full of longing and beauty. In interviews, Lee has spoken about how theater allows him to live truthfully, even if only for 2 hours under the lights. That honesty has earned him immense respect within the arts community. He is not just an actor, he is a mirror of courage, reflecting the quiet resilience of Korea's queer community through every word, gesture, and breath on stage. Sung-yeon is a visual artist and painter whose work turns queerness into poetry. Through surreal imagery and dreamlike symbolism, their art explores the intersections of beauty, love, pain, and transformation within LGBTQ+ identity. Each brushstroke feels like a confession, soft, vulnerable, yet defiantly alive. Their exhibitions often feature distorted bodies, blooming flowers, and androgynous figures that exist between fantasy and reality. To Sung-yeon, queerness is not a statement, it's an ecosystem, a visual language of color and feeling. They've described art as a way to reclaim tenderness in a world that teaches us to hide it. Beyond galleries, Sung-yeon's work circulates widely online, where it has inspired young queer Koreans to see their emotions reflected in something sacred. Their art is a quiet rebellion, not loud or political, but deeply personal, reminding us that beauty itself can be resistance. Jung Young-jun is a writer, journalist, and LGBTQ+ activist who has devoted his voice to documenting the real lives of queer people in modern Korea. Through essays, articles, and social commentary, he sheds light on the struggles and triumphs of a community that continues to fight for recognition and equality. His writing blends journalism with intimacy. He tells stories of love, fear, and resilience, often interviewing those whose experiences rarely make headlines, from closeted youth to trans activists and same-sex couples navigating everyday life. His words challenge stereotypes and replace stigma with understanding. Jung's activism doesn't stop at the page. He frequently participates in pride events, panel discussions, and advocacy campaigns, urging lawmakers and citizens alike to embrace compassion over prejudice. His mission is simple but profound: to ensure that no Korean LGBTQ+ person ever feels invisible again. Young Young-jun stands as a chronicler of truth and empathy, a voice that history will remember. Kim Tae-hwan is redefining what it means to be a male fashion model in Korea. With his tall frame, sharp features, and serene aura, he has graced international runways. But it's his openness to androgyny and gender diversity that makes him unforgettable. In photo shoots, Kim effortlessly shifts between masculine and feminine energies, embodying the fluidity that modern fashion celebrates. He often speaks about how beauty is not confined to gender, encouraging others to express themselves freely through style. His confidence challenges the narrow ideals of Korean masculinity, showing that elegance, vulnerability, and grace belong to everyone. Beyond modeling, Kim Tae-hwan uses his influence to support younger artists who struggle with identity in conservative spaces. His message is consistent and powerful. Self-expression is the highest form of strength. Through his quiet defiance and radiant authenticity, Kim stands as one of Korea's most important symbols of gender inclusivity and modern beauty. Bambiha is one of South Korea's most beloved openly gay YouTubers and lifestyle creators, using digital media to build community, empathy, and courage. Through heartfelt videos about dating, friendship, coming out, and self-care, he gives voice to the experiences many queer Koreans are too afraid to share. His approach is both educational and deeply personal, equal parts humor, honesty, and hope. What sets Bambiha apart is his emotional transparency. He doesn't glamorize queer life. He talks about the real struggles from family rejection to loneliness, while also celebrating joy, love, and chosen family. His warm presence has helped countless viewers feel seen and supported, especially young people still questioning their identities. In a culture where silence still surrounds queerness, Bambiha's channel feels like a sanctuary. His videos remind audiences that vulnerability is not weakness, it's the beginning of healing. By sharing his story, he has become a digital activist for authenticity, turning the screen into a mirror where others can finally recognize themselves. Ryu Ji-min is part of a new generation of Korean creators who are using visibility as activism. As a model, stylist, and influencer, Ji-min challenges traditional ideas of masculinity through his unapologetically queer aesthetic. His social media presence, filled with fluid fashion, bold makeup, and artistic expression, turns style into a language of freedom. Every photo, every runway walk, every collaboration carries a message. Beauty has no gender. Ryu Ji-min refuses to conform to the rigid molds of Korean masculinity, instead celebrating vulnerability, softness, and self-expression. His approach to fashion isn't just about clothing, it's about identity as art. Through his courage and creativity, Ji-min has built a loyal following of fans who see themselves reflected in his work. He represents a generation that's done hiding, proving that confidence and authenticity are far more powerful than tradition. In a world that often values conformity, Ryu Ji-min reminds us that queerness is elegance, not rebellion. Oh Kwon, from the popular boy group Block B, may not have come out as LGBTQ+, but his energy and artistry have long resonated with the queer community. His gender-bending performances, open-minded fashion choices, and vocal support for LGBTQ+ rights have earned him deep admiration from fans who see him as a bridge between pop culture and queer empowerment. In a K-pop world often obsessed with perfection and uniformity, Yu Kwon has stood out for his willingness to play with androgyny and challenge gender norms. Whether performing in bold makeup, experimental outfits, or emotionally vulnerable concepts, he embodies a kind of creative freedom rarely seen in male idols. Beyond the stage, Yu Kwon has spoken about individuality and acceptance with genuine warmth. To many fans, he represents an important kind of allyship, not performative, but lived through empathy and authenticity. His art celebrates the full spectrum of human expression, and his presence in the industry helps create space for others to shine without fear. Few idols have walked the line between pop stardom and personal authenticity as gracefully as Jo Kwon. Known for his flamboyant stage presence, fearless fashion, and boundless energy, Jo Kwon has become an icon of gender fluidity in Korean entertainment. From his early days on We Got Married to his electrifying solo performances in Heels, he's shown that confidence doesn't need to fit into a box. His portrayal of Jamie in the Korean production of Everybody's Talking About Jamie, a musical about a young drag performer, became a cultural moment, highlighting his emotional depth and dedication to representation. Offstage, Jo Kwon is calm, articulate, and deeply reflective. He often speaks about how hard it was to express himself in an industry that expects male idols to act strong and emotionless. But through his courage, he's become a symbol of freedom, artistry, and emotional honesty, a reminder that self-expression is a form of strength, not rebellion. In 2017, Hansol, real name Kim Hansol, broke boundaries when he revealed that he identifies as asexual and fluid, a rare and brave declaration in the K-pop world. His honesty about self-identity, mental health, and emotional struggle made him one of the first idols to discuss sexuality in such an open, personal way. Hansol's vulnerability resonated with thousands of fans, especially those who felt unseen in the binary narratives of gender and orientation. He turned his platform into a safe space for introspection and acceptance, reminding people that identity isn't a performance, it's a journey. Beyond music, Hansol's art and choreography reflect the depth of someone who has lived through confusion, growth, and self-discovery. His openness about being asexual helped educate a generation of fans who may have never encountered that concept before. Through quiet courage and sincerity, Hansol became a voice for those who exist outside labels, gentle, honest, and free. Leo Jae is one of Korea's most celebrated makeup artists, beauty influencers, and television personalities, known not only for his artistry but also for his pride. Openly gay and unapologetically himself, he has built a massive following through creativity, confidence, and authenticity. As a YouTuber and beauty educator, Leo Jae has redefined what it means to be a man in Korean beauty culture. He encourages everyone, especially men, to see self-care and makeup not as vanity, but as self-expression. His tutorials often blend humor with empowerment, reminding viewers that beauty has no gender and self-love has no limits. Off-camera, Leo Jae uses his platform to advocate for acceptance and mental health, sharing his own struggles with vulnerability and strength. In a society where queer visibility is still evolving, he stands tall as a modern role model, elegant, brave, and full of light. His work proves that sometimes revolution begins with a brush, a smile, and the courage to say, "This is who I am."